Hello everyone, thanks for visiting the Wasabi Aquarium channel. The topic of this video will be on root tab fertilizers for your planted aquarium. To ask yourself, what is your overall aim for your planted aquarium? I think in general, the overall aim is to have a colourful and thriving planted aquarium, and to have an excellent, sustainable and manageable plant conditions for years to come. This is ideal. Can maintaining water parameters be good enough to sustain good plant conditions? Well, the answer is no. It won't help on its own. Just like us, plants are living organisms. This means that plants need to eat in order to survive. Plants can't eat, so in order to survive, they depend on nutrients. I've thoroughly explained this in past videos on this channel. As such, I've talked about the importance of nutrition. This episode is an extension to those videos. I highly recommend that you watch those videos to get more confidence in fertilization and nutrients. It'll make it easier for you to understand this episode further, such as the types of minerals, and the application of specific types of fertilizers in your planted aquarium. As stated in the title of this video, this episode will focus on solid type fertilizers. This is what a typical bottle looks like. It's basically nutrients in the form of a compact tablet for easy insertion to your substrate. We'll talk about the main differences between solid and liquid fertilizers, as well as symptoms and diagnosis. What's the best time to use it? When your substrate and aquasoil is new, your plants will be fine with liquid fertilizers. During that time, the plants thrive for a few months and all is well. But then, after about half a year down the track, your plants will begin to show signs of struggle. There are quite a number of reasons why this is happening. The cases are often the gradual deterioration of the plant's health from the third month onwards. The nutrients that were originally rich in your substrate and aquasoil has leached out over time. In effect, plants that depend on root systems for nutrients will begin to struggle. This will mean liquid fertilization is insufficient for these types of plants. Please keep this in mind, especially for root-dependent plants. In this scenario, a good indicator of nutrient deficiencies would be the color of your carpeting plants. This serves as the perfect opportunity to supplement your substrate with solid fertilizers. In this example, this tank right here has been running about 6 months. Solid fertilizers are also known as root tabs, and this is the perfect time to dose root tabs to allow the plants to thrive for months to come. Root-dependent plants include Cryptocoryne, Echinodorus, and Glossostigma, frequently used in the hobby. My experience tells me that root tabs generally last for about 6 months, but it depends on the manufacturer of the root tabs and the nutrients included. This is ADA Amazonia, so it's been good up to now. ADA Amazonia is rich in nutrients, which is ideal, but not all substrates are made the same by other brands. If you are using a different brand, you may want to dose a bit earlier, perhaps 3 to 4 months in. You will ideally first use liquid fertilizers, and then add root tabs as scheduled. Then, you'll continue using liquid fertilizers as usual. So, what's the real difference between liquid and solid fertilizers? In the case of liquid fertilizers, it has an immediate effect. For example, you can immediately supplement your nutrient-deficient plants with it. On the contrary with root tabs, this sort of fertilizer is slowly released into the substrate over a number of months. You might feel let down by the gradual decline of your plant conditions and the overall slowdown of growth. It will take a bit to get used to, but don't worry, as this is all part of the hobby. This is where liquid and root tab fertilizers come into play. The caveat with liquid fertilizers is that it may cause serious issues if under or overdosed. Yes, this may seem a little strange, but the slightest mistake of under or overdosing liquid fertilizers will cause lots of issues. On the contrary, with root tabs, it's completely different. This is because root tabs are completely buried into the substrate. It's slowly dissolved over a few months, thanks to a special formulated coating. Because of this, it is almost impossible to cause under or overdosing problems with root tabs. Root tabs are fairly easy to manage, and even if you dose a fair bit into your substrate, it does not lead to algae outbreaks. If you think liquid fertilization is super complex, then this should be a breeze for you. Root tabs may have an immediate effect, as it is activated when it's wet in the substrate. Determining the amount to dose varies due to its different characteristics. In conjunction with liquid fertilization, as long as you dose root tabs in time, the plant conditions will improve. So how do you actually use it? Okay, I'd like to show you how to go about using it. These are the root tabs that I will be using. It's ADA Bottom Plus. ADA Bottom Plus is a relatively new root tab fertilizer, and it's an all-in-one product. It includes nutrients such as iron and nitrogen. It includes nutrients necessary for rooted plants. Very easy to use and very effective in all areas of your tank. It's a highly recommended product here. Okay, let's open it up and see what the root tabs actually look like. As you can see, the root tabs are long, similar to a small stick or twig. It's designed to be driven straight into the substrate with ease. There are two ways to dose into the substrate. The first method would be using your pincettes, like so, and then pushing it down straight into the substrate. It may be difficult to do with normal aquarium tweezers, which are commonly thin at the tips. These tweezers here are pretty thick at the tips, and has pretty nice grips as shown. It's relatively easy to handle, as you can firmly grip the root tab and then plunge it into the substrate. Going back to the pincets, you can obviously see that it would be difficult using them. Glossostigma is a well-rooted plant, so I'll show you where to place the root tabs. As you can see, we have a lot of plant mass to penetrate, even with tweezers to plunge the root tab into the substrate. It may stop halfway, exposing the other half of the root tab in the water, which is a complete failure. As you continue shoving it down, the root tabs crumble and then dissolves in the water. Take my word for it, I've experienced it firsthand. Please avoid incorrect applications by using the right tools. This here is an ADA bottom release tool. It's specially designed for applications of root tabs into the substrate. Okay, this is how simple it is to put the root tab into the tool. Yes, simple, just like that. It's very convenient because it holds the root tab in position, preventing it from falling out and floating in the water. For this example, I'm just going to stab it right here into the substrate. Please note that the release trigger is rested on my palm. Pull up the tool as you depress the trigger and you will see the root tab has been released. And that's it. It's very easy to use and you can repeat the same steps all over your tank. I've got to admit, I tried 3 times to get used to it when I first got the tool. The tip of the tool is specially designed so that it does not clog when inserted into the substrate, or get stuck halfway due to thick plant roots. As you can see, this tool has a firm grip, allowing the root tabs to penetrate. Let's compare it to the tweezers. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will attempt to plunge a root tab into the substrate with these tweezers. This is ADA iron bottom, and as you can see, it's the exact same shape as ADA bottom plus. Let's go ahead and plunge it in. I'm holding the root tab firmly. Where should I put it? This looks like an easy spot. Let's plunge it down here. Please note that if you take a firm grip, you will be fine. There's nothing tweezers can't do. There you have it. I showed you two methods of applying root tabs to your aquarium. As you saw on this episode, tweezers are a great alternative for root tabs, especially for those who don't have an ADA dealer nearby. However, if you only have pin sets, you might be able to do the same thing. Albeit, you'll find it challenging plunging root tabs into the substrate. I hope you find it easier now to apply root tabs such as ADA bottom plus. As mentioned earlier, I think some people might find it difficult to find these products due to the lack of ADA distributors. I've used ADA fertilizers over the years, so I can personally recommend them for its excellent quality. I've linked the products mentioned in this video in the description box below. My personal experience means that I can vouch for ADA root tabs' effectiveness and efficacy. I hope you use it too. You may think that the root tab shape and overall appearance doesn't look like much, and that it's a bit tricky to insert into the substrate without the correct tools. Hence this tutorial to show you how it's done. If you don't have much root tabs remaining, or you're just running low, you can probably break the root tabs in half to maximize the coverage of your aquarium. So, instead of selectively dosing portions of your aquarium due to low stock, I hope you can maximize the coverage this way. So, how was the video? We've covered how to effectively dose root tabs. I showed you how to easily insert root tabs into your substrate, as well as other tips and tricks. Despite dosing liquid fertilizers correctly, plants will gradually grow out of shape. If this is the case, it's time to use root tab fertilizers, as seen in the Glossostigma here. The plant's growth has stunted and has smaller leaves than normal, as well as yellow discoloration. It's a telltale sign of nutrient deficiencies. This applies to Cryptocorini and other rooting plants. With the correct scheduling and application of root tabs, the overall plant stems and leaves should sprout in good condition. It's easy to lose interest in this hobby, especially if your plants are failing, so root tabs are very important for these types of plants. If your plants have already yellowed, it will be trickier to revive them. So please use root tabs as a preventative measure as a part of your scheduled maintenance. By doing so, I think it will maintain your aquarium plants in good condition for months to come. I've explained how to look for symptoms of nutrient deficiencies and how to prevent and diagnose. Once you get a hang of inserting root tabs, it will become second nature to you. That way, your aquarium will be looking great in the long run. If you have any questions, or you'd like us to explain anything, feel free to submit your comment below. Please be reminded that recurring questions will be answered in future videos. Also, let us know below if there are any other questions. This concludes this episode in root tab fertilizers. I gladly appreciate it if you like, share and subscribe to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. Your continued support helps us to produce future videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.